Welcome, devoted readers, to another gripping installment of TV Day's Drama Digest, where we plunge headfirst into the tangled web of secrets, betrayals, and heart-stopping revelations that define the lives of our favorite characters. Today, we unravel one of the most explosive storylines to ever grace the screen of Days of Our Lives, the devastating question of whether Rachel Black confessed a shattering truth that sent her mother, Kristen DiMera, to jail. Or whether something far more sinister and complex is at play. Buckle up, because this is no ordinary tale. It's a roller coaster of emotions, a labyrinth of deception, and a testament to the lengths a mother will go to protect her child. Let's dive into the chaos and explore how this gut-wrenching drama unfolds, piece by devastating piece. A shocking crime rocks Salem. The sleepy town of Salem has never been a stranger to scandal, but the shooting of E.J. DiMera sent shockwaves through its core, leaving residents and viewers reeling. E.J., the charismatic yet morally ambiguous scion of the DiMera family, was gunned down in a moment of fiery confrontation, his blood staining the pristine floors of the DiMera mansion. The question on everyone's lips: who pulled the trigger? Suspicion swirled like a storm, and all eyes turned to two women at the heart of the tragedy: Kristen DiMera, the cunning and fiercely protective mother, and her young daughter, Rachel Black, a child caught in a maelstrom of adult sins. At first glance, the narrative seemed straightforward. Rachel, in a moment of impulsive rage or tragic accident, shot her uncle E.J. Kristen, ever the devoted mother, appeared to know the truth and urged her daughter to come clean. But as with all things in Salem, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. The deeper we dig, the more we uncover a tapestry of lies, half-truths, and desperate sacrifices that threaten to tear this family apart. Was Rachel's confession coerced? Did Kristen manipulate the truth to shield her daughter? Or is there an even darker secret lurking beneath the surface, one that could change everything we thought we knew? The mother's burden. Kristen's desperate gamble. Kristen DiMera is no stranger to controversy. Her life has been a whirlwind of schemes, betrayals, and unrelenting ambition, but one constant remains: her unwavering love for her daughter, Rachel. From the moment Rachel was born, Kristen vowed to protect her at all costs, even if it meant sacrificing her own freedom, reputation, or sanity. This fierce maternal instinct is the lens through which we must view Kristen's actions in this unfolding drama. When whispers began to circulate that Rachel might have been involved in E.J.'s shooting, Kristen's world tilted on its axis. The thought of her only child facing the cold, unforgiving machinery of the justice system, or worse, the juvenile detention system, was more than she could bear. The courtroom scene was nothing short of electrifying. Kristen, with her signature blend of poise and barely contained panic, stood before the judge, her eyes darting to Rachel, who sat pale and trembling in the gallery. The prosecution painted a damning picture. Rachel, they claimed, had admitted to witnessing her mother shoot E.J. But was this the truth, or a carefully orchestrated lie? Kristen's defense was a masterclass in deflection, her words dripping with calculated ambiguity. "My daughter is innocent," she declared, her voice trembling with a mix of defiance and fear. "She's a child, caught in a world of adult mistakes. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her." But here's where the plot thickens. Sources close to the case suggest that Kristen may have encouraged Rachel to testify that she saw her mother commit the crime. Why? To shield Rachel from suspicion. If Rachel were to admit to pulling the trigger, whether by accident or intent, she could face charges that would scar her young life forever. Kristen, ever the strategist, knew the system would be kinder to her, a seasoned player in Salem's legal dramas, than to a vulnerable child. By taking the fall, Kristen could ensure Rachel's freedom, even if it meant trading her own. Rachel's fractured memory. A child caught in chaos. At the heart of this tragedy lies Rachel Black, a girl whose innocence has been battered by the stormy relationships and dark secrets of the adults around her. Rachel's testimony in court was a gut punch to viewers, a moment of raw vulnerability that left us questioning everything. She claimed to have seen her mother shoot EJ, but her words faltered, her eyes darting nervously as if grappling with a truth she couldn't fully grasp. And then came the bombshell. Rachel also admitted to seeing Johnny DiMera, EJ's son, pointing a gun at his father during a heated altercation. But crucially, she didn't see Johnny fire. This fleeting memory, fragmented and unreliable, opened a Pandora's box of possibilities. Could Rachel's recollection be flawed? Trauma has a way of twisting the mind, especially a young one. It's entirely possible that Rachel, caught in the crossfire of a violent argument, misremembered the sequence of events. Did she see Johnny with the gun and assume he fired? Or worse, could Rachel herself have pulled the trigger in a moment of panic, only to bury the memory deep within her psyche? The human mind, particularly a child's, is a fragile thing, prone to distortion under pressure. Rachel's confusion, her halting testimony, and her tearful glances at her mother suggest a truth too painful to confront. The possibility that Rachel shot EJ, whether intentionally or by accident, is a chilling one. Picture the scene, a heated argument between EJ and Johnny, voices raised, tempers flaring. Rachel, perhaps hiding in the shadows, clutching a gun she stumbled upon in the DiMera mansion's labyrinthine halls. Maybe she meant to intervene, to protect someone she loved, or maybe it was a tragic misfire. The gun goes off, EJ falls, and Rachel's world collapses. In the chaos, her mind scrambles to make sense of the horror, and the memory fractures. By the time she takes the stand, she's no longer sure what she saw or did. Johnny's role, a red herring or a key player? Johnny DiMera's involvement adds another layer of intrigue to this already convoluted tale. Rachel's testimony placed him at the scene, gun in hand, moments before EJ was shot. Johnny, with his brooding intensity and complicated relationship with his father, makes for a compelling suspect. Their relationship was fraught with tension. EJ's relentless expectations clashing with Johnny's rebellious streak. Could Johnny have fired the shot that felled his father? Rachel's account suggests not, but her uncertainty leaves room for doubt. Johnny's own testimony was a study in evasion. He admitted to arguing with EJ that fateful night, even to brandishing a gun in a moment of fury. "I was angry," he confessed, his voice low and strained. "But I didn't shoot him. I couldn't." His words carried the weight of truth, but in Salem, truth is a slippery thing. If Johnny didn't fire, then who did? And why would Rachel's memory place him at the center of the crime, only to falter when pressed for details? The possibility that Johnny is being framed or that he's protecting someone cannot be ignored. Perhaps he knows more than he's letting on, shielding Rachel or even Kristen out of loyalty or guilt. Or perhaps he's a convenient scapegoat, a distraction from the real culprit. The DiMera family is no stranger to manipulation, and Johnny's role in this drama may be more pawn than player. Kristen's sacrifice, a mother's ultimate act. As the trial unfolded, Kristen's actions became increasingly desperate. Her arrest was a moment of high drama, the kind that leaves viewers clutching their remotes in disbelief. Handcuffed and defiant, Kristen maintained her composure, but her eyes betrayed a storm of emotions: fear, resolve, and an unyielding love for her daughter. "I did what I had to do," she told the press as she was led away, her voice steady but her hands trembling. But what, exactly, did she do? The prevailing theory is that Kristen confessed to the crime to protect Rachel. Whether Rachel shot EJ or not, Kristen's maternal instincts kicked into overdrive. She knew that a conviction would mean years behind bars, but for her daughter's sake, she was willing to pay the price. The idea of Rachel facing juvenile detention, or worse, the stigma of being labeled a killer, was unthinkable. Kristen's plan, if we can call it that, was to take the blame, spin a narrative that would exonerate Rachel, and trust that her own cunning would eventually secure her freedom. But this sacrifice comes at a cost. Kristen's reputation, already tarnished by years of schemes, is now in tatters. The town of Salem, quick to judge, has branded her a villain once more. Yet those who know Kristen best, her brother Stefan, her former lover Brady, see the truth beneath the surface. She's not a monster, Brady insisted in a heated exchange with reporters. She's a mother. You'd do anything for your kid, wouldn't you? His words struck a chord, reminding us that Kristen's actions, however misguided, are rooted in a love so fierce it defies reason. The courtroom clash, a battle for truth. The trial itself was a spectacle, a clash of titans that kept viewers glued to their screens. The prosecution, led by a steely district attorney with a vendetta against the DiMera family, painted Kristen as a cold-blooded manipulator who orchestrated the shooting to settle old scores with EJ. Their case hinged on Rachel's testimony, which they argued was coerced by Kristen to deflect suspicion. But the defense countered with a narrative of maternal sacrifice, portraying Kristen as a woman driven to extremes to protect her child. Rachel's time on the stand was the emotional pinnacle of the trial. Her small frame seemed to shrink under the weight of the courtroom scrutiny, her voice barely above a whisper as she recounted the night of the shooting. "I saw Mommy with the gun," she said, her words halting and uncertain. But when pressed by the defense, she faltered, admitting that she also saw Johnny with a gun, and that the chaos of the moment blurred her memory. The courtroom gasped, and Kristen's face remained impassive, but her eyes glistened with unshed tears. The judge, a grizzled veteran of Salem's legal battles, seemed torn. The evidence was circumstantial at best, relying heavily on Rachel's shaky testimony and Kristen's alleged confession. But the lack of a definitive murder weapon lost in the chaos of the crime scene left room for doubt. Was Kristen's confession genuine or a calculated move to protect her daughter? And if Rachel didn't shoot EJ, who did? The unanswered questions, a story far from over as we await the next chapter in this saga. The questions pile up like storm clouds over Salem. Did Rachel shoot EJ in a moment of panic, her memory fractured by trauma? Did Kristen take the fall to shield her daughter, or is she hiding an even darker truth? And what of Johnny, whose role in the shooting remains tantalizingly ambiguous? The truth, as always in Days of Our Lives, is a puzzle with missing pieces, each revelation leading to new mysteries. One thing is certain. Kristen DiMera's love for her daughter is the beating heart of this story. Whether she's a villain or a hero, a schemer or a martyr, Kristen's actions are driven by a primal need to protect Rachel from a world that's far too cruel for a child. As the trial continues and new evidence comes to light, we can only hold our breath and wait for the next bombshell to drop. In Salem, the truth is never simple and the stakes are always sky-high. Will Kristen's sacrifice save her daughter, or will it unravel the fragile bond they share? Will Rachel's memory hold the key to the truth, or is it a casualty of the chaos that surrounds her? And what of EJ, whose fate hangs in the balance as the town grapples with the aftermath of his shooting? One thing is clear, this is a story of love, loss, and desperate choices, and it's far from over. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.